There are moments in life when people mistreat you, use you, and take advantage of your kindness, and it cuts deeper than words can explain. A narcissist thinks they can walk away without consequence, that they can play with your heart, and nothing will ever come back to them. But the truth is, God sees it all. He knows the pain they caused, the sleepless nights, the tears nobody else witnessed. And while you may feel broken in the moment, God is already writing a story of justice, of restoration, and of redemption. There are ways He will make them regret ever underestimating you. And through it all, He will lift you higher than you could have imagined. When someone with a narcissistic heart tries to tear you down, their power often lies in secrecy, manipulation, and deception. They craft stories, twist words, and build an image that is not rooted in truth, but in control. They thrive in the shadows, convincing others that they are the victim while you are the problem. This is why one of the most powerful ways God responds is by exposing the truth. What was hidden will not remain hidden forever, because God is a God of justice and light. He does not allow lies to prosper endlessly, and at the right time He brings everything into the open. When you have been hurt by a narcissist, you might feel trapped under the weight of their false narrative. You wonder if people will ever know what you endured, if your side of the story will ever be heard, or if the truth will forever remain buried under their lies. But God has a way of shining light where there has been darkness. The same people who were once blinded by their charm begin to see cracks in their mask. Situations arise where their own words betray them, and the web of deceit they spun begins to unravel. This is not something you have to fight for or force. It is something God orchestrates in His timing. You may not see it immediately, but step by step, God removes the layers of deception. The narcissist who once seemed untouchable suddenly finds themselves exposed by the very actions they thought would remain hidden. Their pride and arrogance become the very trap that ensnares them. People start noticing inconsistencies in their behavior. Their words no longer match their actions, and the mask they wore so carefully begins to slip. And as the truth emerges, their false power over you begins to crumble. What makes this even more profound is that God often uses their own behavior to reveal who they truly are. They might overplay their hand, become reckless in their lies, or show their true colors in a moment they thought no one was watching. God doesn't need to send thunder or lightning to expose them. He simply allows the truth to surface in ways that cannot be denied. And when that happens, those who once doubted you start to see clearly. The truth speaks louder than any defense you could have given, and God's light pierces through every shadow. Think about the countless times in life when darkness thought it had the final word, yet the truth prevailed. The same God who brings hidden things to light is the same God working in your story. He is not mocked, and He will not allow deceit to reign forever. This should give you peace, because you don't need to exhaust yourself trying to prove what really happened. You don't need to fight every battle with words or try to expose every lie. God has already taken it into His hands, and when He reveals the truth, it will be undeniable. And when that moment comes, the narcissist will face regret, not only because they are exposed, but because they will realize they could not hide from God. They will see that the manipulation they thought made them powerful has become the very thing that weakens them. Their reputation, which they valued above everything, begins to collapse. The image they worked so hard to protect begins to shatter. And in those moments of exposure, They are forced to face the reality that God's justice cannot be outrun. The beauty of this is that God's way of revealing the truth does not just clear your nay, it restores your spirit. It shows you that you are not forgotten, that your pain was not invisible, and that the lies spoken against you do not define your future. You may have been underestimated, silenced, or dismissed, but when God exposes the truth, He also lifts you up. People begin to see your strength, your resilience, and the integrity you carried even through hardship. That is part of His restoration, and it is more powerful than any revenge you could have sought on your own. So when you feel that heaviness of being misunderstood, when the weight of lies feels unbearable, remind yourself that truth has a way of rising to the surface. Lies are temporary, but truth is eternal. A narcissist may think they can control the story forever, but they cannot control God's timing. They cannot stop Him from pulling back the curtain and showing the reality of who they are. And in that moment, everything shifts. Those who once believed them begin to distance themselves. The influence they once had starts to vanish. And the power they held over you breaks, not because you fought harder, but because God fought for you. This is why patience and trust are so important when you've been wounded by a narcissist. It can feel unbearable to wait for the truth to be revealed, but God is strategic. He waits until the right moment, when exposure will have the greatest impact, not just on them, but also on you and everyone watching. And when that moment comes, you will know without a doubt that it was God who orchestrated it, because the way it unfolds will be beyond anything you could have managed yourself. The exposure will be complete, undeniable, and inescapable, and in that exposure lies the beginning of freedom and vindication for your soul.